Good afternoon or morning for some people who are joining us from the West Coast today. First of all, I want to thank you for joining the Qvinci Accountant Series webinar. This week we are focusing on adding diversities to the services you offer. My name is Caitlin Underwood, and I am an account executive over here at Qvinci that focuses on the accountants and pro advisors in the Northeast region. So excited to talk to you today about this topic. A few items I would like to call out before we begin is our chat question window pane in the webinar toolbar. Please use it throughout the webinar, and you'll be able to ask questions to one of our colleagues over here at Qvinci. Looks like today on chat we have Marty De Los Santos. He is a account executive who works with accountants and pro advisors, bookkeepers on the West Coast, and he is more than happy to answer any questions you may have. At the end of the call, we will also open up a Q&A session, so if you don't have any questions throughout, then at the end we'll be able to answer those questions. We have two great webinars scheduled for the next month. The next one is our account series, How to Set Up. We will have our Director of Customer Support, Kristen Carnes, on that call, and she'll be able to show you how you can set your account up and start the onboarding process with your clients. So very excited about that one. The next webinar is Qvinci. How can Qvinci increase client engagement? So that's another one in our accountant series. So that will be a great follow-up session to this webinar, and highly recommend that one as well. Always like to show this slide where we are extremely proud of our clients and hope you will see your logo up there soon. But we began in the franchise space, and now we are industry agnostic. You know, whether you are an accountant, franchise, SMB, nonprofit, and need cloud reporting, Qvinci has you covered. Here's what we will be going over today. Today will be a little bit more slide heavy than our normal webinars because we have a lot of great content to share, but we will get into a high-level demo at the end, so definitely want to recommend reaching out to one of our account executives to schedule a one-on-one. If you chat in right now, we can let you know who your point of contact is. Marty will be more than happy to do so. So a little bit about our company. We were founded in 2007 under the name QuickDash and began as a solution that only interacted with QuickBooks Desktop. Shortly afterwards, we were approached by a company called INTUIT, and I am sure you all are very familiar with them. But they asked us for two requirements before we began a partnership together. The first was that we have our solution interact with their new online accounting application they just launched, which is QBO. And second, Intuit has a trademark on the name Quick as it relates to financials. So they kindly asked us to change our name, and we were more than happy to do so. From there, Qvinci was born, and we went into partnership with Intuit, and very proud to announce in 2011 a whole bunch of reporting solutions threw their name in a hat. And the franchise program of Intuit vetted all those companies and chose us to be the reporting solution for the Intuit franchise program. So if you go to their site and under reporting, you will see our name. So definitely excited about that. We also are the top-rated reporting app on the Intuit App Store, so recommend you mosey over there when you have some time and read our reviews. You will not be let down. Lastly, around the same time this year, last year we were awarded with our first patent around mapping to a standard chart of accounts, which we will go into a bit later in the webinar. But there will also be many, many more patents to come, so we're very excited about that. A little bit about our technology. Qvinci links and syncs up with your accounting application. As you can see on the bottom, those are the accounting packages we currently support. Within QuickBooks, we support all versions of desktop as long as it is newer than 2009. So think Pro, Premier, Enterprise, Accountant, we support all those versions. Now, whether it's on your local computer, you guys have a dedicated server, or you are with a third-party hosting company like Right Networks, we can link and sync up. We also can sync with QBO and Xero. And usually a common question we get right here is, can we sync at the class or location level? And the answer is absolutely yes. If you are in a medical practice, you have a medical practice client, for example, and utilizes classes as the doctors and want to see reporting at that doctor level, we would be able to sync with each of those classes and provide you that level of data. We are an added layer on top of your accounting application. We don't replace it, but we give you another level of service you can offer your clients, as well as a tool to make your job easier. It is a read-only solution, which is great, so you do not have to worry about your clients going in and making any changes to the books. I was reading an article the other day that mentioned accountants as the third most trusted profession, right behind the medical, doctors and nurses being the first, and emergency response teams being policemen and firemen being the second. So I know you work hard to earn your trust of your clients, and in return, your clients give you their business and access into their financials. With technology today, clients are really wanting more visibility to their accounting. Now, they may not want to run their books, but they want to see how their books are being run and, how if they're being updated. And Qvinci really allows you to give them access so your clients can log in and run their reports without it interfering with your job and time. Instead of taking time to prepare financial statements for them, they can go log in and run reports themselves. This in return gives you back time in your day to focus on other services such as consulting or even going out and reaching new clients. Many firms today are really investing in technology. So you show your clients that you're keeping up with the times and that new technology is out there. When accountants come to me and I ask them what brought them to Qvinci, the number one thing that they always tell me is they want to differentiate themselves from the accountant down the street, and this is one way you can do so. Now that we have established a foundation about what is Qvinci and how it came about, let's dive in and talk about how you can utilize Qvinci to add diversity. There are 7 topics that correlate to Qvinci's game-changing features, and we will go through them one by one. And when we get done, we'll jump right into the application. So hope everyone will be wide awake by then. So link and sync. We briefly discussed this earlier, but let me talk about the process a little bit more in depth. Qvinci performs an automated sync with a cloud-based application like Xero or QBO. We sync automatically at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time every day. With an application like QuickBooks Desktop, we sync again automatically, but the sync occurs when the file is first opened on any given calendar day. We take the current year summary financial data and the 2 previous years, so at any time you can be looking up to 36 months of data. We do not take any kind of fraud-sensitive data like Social Security numbers, credit card numbers, bank account numbers, nothing of that nature. Now, clients can access and run reports with up-to-date information without you having to send them a QuickBooks backup file or compile a report for them. All of your clients will also go into your account. So if you support, let's say, 20 clients, you can log into Qvinci and access all your clients and run a report without opening every single QuickBooks file or every single Xero file. So, if a client calls you up and asks you a question about their P&L, instead of having to pull up their QuickBooks file, you can simply just log into your Qvinci account and access their reports without opening up that file. Because you may not even have access to it at that time. It might be on your local PC, and you might be out visiting another client. Health check. Um, this is a great feature. What it does, it scans the files for any kind of anomalies or discrepancies. I like to say it goes all Sherlock Holmes on your file. But we want to make sure everything is correct and balanced. Now, you may say you cannot make entries in QuickBooks that cause your books to be imbalanced. Well, QuickBooks does help with error prevention, but it's not seamless. I was on this INTUIT-led webinar the other day, and they mentioned that one of the top 10 reasons clients call into their customer support is for their balance sheet not being balanced. So sometimes errors, both unintentionally and hopefully not, but intentionally, do go through. We like to call this our sanity check tool. Just to make sure that all those are zeros and the books they're clean, they're balanced. I have a client that I was speaking to the other day, and she had a 1 in one of those boxes, and she was determined we were wrong. So she called up Intuit, and sure enough, they were able to help locate and fix the issue. But it easily scans the files to make sure there are no errors, so both you and your client can sleep soundly at night. Alerts and emails. Do you have that one client that just does not manage their expenses very well? Sure, their sales might look great, but their expenses are just too high. Qvinci's alerts can really help here. Set alerts for you or your clients so you can keep track by having weekly or daily, email notifications come through that show you actuals or targets or thresholds of certain accounts. For example, you might have a client that's in the lawn mowing business, and they waste too much gasoline. You know, Maybe they're having a bonfire for fun or weekend, but they waste their gasoline on personal reasons and you know, really want to use their expenses that's just related to their business. What you can do is go in and monitor that expense. So go into their account, set an alert for a target or a threshold of X amount so they can be reminded about their threshold and their actual to make sure they're staying in budget and aligning themselves to become more profitable by managing those expenses. Because at the end of the day, a profitable customer is a happy customer. Get those clients on the phone and start setting alerts with them and really educate them on key accounts they need to pay attention to run their business successfully. It's a simple tool and provides a lot of value. We talked about the ability for your clients to now have the access to run their own reports. With Qvinci, there's no fee per user. You can have an unlimited number of users to your account. You can delegate them to your clients, your employees, your investors, as many people as you would like. You can invite whoever makes sense and give them the appropriate credentials so they are only seeing their data. Now you can offer a Qvinci training service along with the solution, incorporate that into your accounting package, and present it to current and prospective clients. This really incentivizes clients to work with you and not that accountant down the street who might email generic reports every month, or even worse, the accountant who are still sending reports by mail. Now they can have on-demand access to view their financials. Qvinci is cloud-based, so as long as you have internet access, you can access and run reports. Strongly not recommended, but if you're anything like me and you're on vacation, you want to get away from your significant other or family just for a little bit, now you have a reason to, because you can access your client's financials from the internet. Go on, log in just to make sure everything's running great. Close it, and then get back to your vacation. But Qvinci it provides accessibility and flexibility when it comes to accounting. Consolidation. If you currently take on clients that have multiple files or classes within those files and need consolidation, you know that's a pain. It involves them taking each file, exporting it to Excel, then merging it into an Excel, consolidation report. But then if you have to add an account, where does that go? That might be a reason, in itself not to take on those types of clients. Well, I'm about to tell you hopefully won't blow your mind too much, but we consolidate files, whether it's 2,000 files in seconds. So if you feel that constant annoyance with consolidation, those days are gone. If you do not take on those clients, now you have a reason to. Let Qvinci do all the work for you. You can consolidate by month, years, specific time period. You can see period over period, or you can simply see multiple P&Ls side by side, the total at the end. You can run reports very easily, and we give you many options to do so. Furthermore, when you run a report that you constantly run, tag it as a memorized report, and it will dock on your reporting page. So when you log in now, you can pull up memorized reports and view whenever. If one of those memorized reports that you've selected is made up of a rolling date range, for example, consolidated last month. This month in May, you'll run your report and it will reflect April's data. But let's say you log in June 1st. It will automatically show you May's data because you selected a date range of last month, and it will continue being updated for you. It will update those actuals automatically. Your Excel days of consolidation are over. Let's let Qvinci do this for you automatically. Properties and filters within Qvinci. Now, what does that mean? Let's say, for example, you're on Amazon and you're looking for that sweet Tom Brady jersey for your kid. Yes, I'm a Patriots fan, so I didn't see anyone drop the call, so I'll continue on. But you want to buy that jersey, and you have certain criteria. So you go on Amazon, you select, I need a U size. I want it to be Tom Brady. I want it to be their blue home jersey. And boom, you've narrowed it down to your search to get exactly what you're looking for. Qvinci does this for you as well. If you have a client with multiple files and they want to run reports based on certain criteria, you can absolutely do so. Franchises love this feature because they can drill down and run a filter based off franchise business consultants, so they can see how locations are performing under that dedicated franchise business consultant. Property management companies also love this because they can run consolidated reports based off properties in certain locations like Texas or Arizona or California. SMBs use it to tag groups locations under a parent company. Let's say you have an SMB that has 6 accounting files and 3 roll up to one parent company and 3 roll up to another. You can tag each of those with filters to be able to do that and run reports very easily. You really decide what makes sense for your client. Qvinci allows you to have up to 20 customizable properties you can utilize when running reports. So you really decide how much you want to drill down into your reports based on non-financial criteria that you've established. We give you the option, so now you can go brainstorm with your clients to implement. Analytics. Qvinci gives the ability to benchmark. Now, this is peer benchmarking. So if you have a medical practice and they want to benchmark their doctors, you can do so. If you have a franchise with 20 locations, you can benchmark those locations against each other. If you only take on clients in the plumbing industry, for example, you can load all of your Qvinci clients into one company and offer your clients essentially industry benchmarking based on your sample set of plumbing clients. You can tell clients how they perform against the top 10%, 20% average, and it appears in an anonymous fashion. You'll never know whose data you are viewing. If you already currently purchased, let's say, industry benchmarking from a third party, we allow you to export all reports out of Qvinci into a PDF or Excel. We also give you the ability to customize P&L and balance sheet reports. So if you have that data, you can copy and paste it into a report within Qvinci. With Qvinci, there's really no boundaries. We provide you with reporting, dashboards, benchmarking, and so much more. This is where we have our patent, which I was talking about earlier in the presentation. Qvinci allows you to load a standard chart of accounts within Qvinci. Once we sync with your locations or files, some of the data will automatically be mapped into your standard chart of account. So in this example we have on the screen, we have mortgage, lease, rent. Now in your standard chart of accounts, everything is going under rent. So we automatically map all those dispareteness into a single account that you've decided and dictated for your client. And it does it automatically. Whatever is after the mapping technology picks up, whatever is left, we give you the ability to go back and map it once, and it will memorize it moving forward. So if a client goes in and adds another account that doesn't fit your standard, it'll let you know under unmapped accounts. So if you want to have another chart of accounts in Qvinci that is different from QuickBooks, we allow you to upload one and map it in Qvinci. You can also at any time run reports in the native chart accounts as they appear in QuickBooks or Xero or the accounting application. Now with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the application. All right, when you log into Qvinci, this is what you will be seeing. Right now we're looking at a client that's a multi-store franchise that looks like 28 locations. So these are 28 different accounting files. So when you log in, you'll be seeing their dashboard, and everything right now is currently being consolidated. Each of the widgets that you can select right here can be rearranged. They can be removed from the page. They can be added to the page. We give you 11 preset widgets that you can view. You might have a client that you don't want them to see AP and AR aging. You just want them to focus on the P&L, last 3 months or year over year. Sit with them and have dock those widgets on their page, and then as they learn more about their business, incorporate new widgets like the AP and AR aging and tell them to pay attention to those. So you can really help your clients grow and become more familiar with widgets and reporting, and set their dashboard up the way that you would recommend for them to view. As I mentioned about the filters, this multi-store franchise is an automotive. So one custom property or filter that's important to them is number of bays. I just want to see my 9 locations in the 1 to 2 bay category. So you can go ahead, it'll automatically pop up those results, hit apply filter, and now it's rearranged your dashboard to reflect the automotive locations with 1 to 2 bays. There were 9 of them, so right now you're looking at all of those 9 consolidated. That's how you do it with reporting as well. The filter tab works exactly how you do with reporting. When we had this up, this Austin location could be a QuickBooks Online file. This could be a QuickBooks Desktop file. This could be a QuickBooks Desktop file by class. This could be an Excel file. This could be a Xero. It doesn't really matter. We link and sync up with all of those disparate accounting packages and bring the data into Qvinci. Now, if you give your client access to view this, this is what they're viewing. But in your file, you will have all of your clients loaded right here, and they will not be able to toggle between clients. So this is where you will store all of your clients, and a simple drop-down, you can toggle between each client very easily. We also give you the ability to white label this. So this can have your company logo right here. You can present this as a solution for your clients that's being powered by Qvinci. So a great marketing tool to show them. But you guys, you're innovative. You invest in technology. You're presenting them the solution that's being powered by Qvinci. Let's go ahead and get into some of the reporting capabilities. So these are the reports we currently offer: profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow. We have ability to turn on a profit and loss weekly. Also that peer benchmarking, a ranking, if you want to see how each of your locations are being ranked, ratios, AR, AP aging, sales by customer, expense by vendor, and trial balance. We have our memorized report. This is where they're being docked on the right-hand side of the screen. So let's go ahead and run a profit and loss report. The frequency dictates the upper rows right here when you see reports. So when you have months, you'll have all the months consolidated at the top. If you want to do it by quarter or year, or if you want to see each accounting file broken out side by side, this is how you would perform that. Also, if you need to see a period over period, you can select that. This is where I mentioned about the rolling date ranges. If you want to do the last 3 months, it'll update automatically as each month will roll around. Or if you want to set a certain date range, you can absolutely do that as well. So let's go ahead. We're running a report on the 9 locations in that 1 to 2 bay category. We're going to do it by month for this calendar year to date. On the right-hand side, the first tick marks, we have account mapping. This is where if you have a standard chart of accounts loaded in Qvinci, it will appear under that standard. If you do not want to see it in your Qvinci standard, just simply untick that, and you'll be seeing reports exactly how they appear in QuickBooks. We give you some vertical analysis. If you want to show a graph, include averages or top 10%, we do that right here. So just that quickly, it ran a P&L consolidated for current month to date. There's no date in May right now. For 1 to 2 locations, which consist of 9, and now you have a consolidated P&L by month for the current year to date. Each report can be dumped to PDF or exported to Excel. And once it does so, if you have a disclaimer set right here, if you need to put any kind of disclaimer that reflects SARS-21 verbiage, you can do so right here. So when they export out of Qvinci, that will appear on all reports, including the widgets as well. Now you see where it says unmapped. This is where a client might have gone in, they've added some accounts that don't fit the standard. It'll simply just appear as unmapped. So when you see this, you need to go in and map their accounts or get them on the phone and help them map it. And we'll go into that a little bit later. But let's say you have a report and you call your client and you want them just to focus on sales. You don't really want them to see a whole P&L. Get them on the phone, have them open their account, tell them to memorize and customize their report. So we'll call this sales P&L. Now you can go here, add rows, add columns, remove rows, hide rows, add formulas, anything you would like. It's very, very similar to Excel. The difference is, as I mentioned about those rolling date ranges, you might create a custom report for the last 3 months. So in May, it'll reflect February, March, and April. But when June comes around, all the data, all the actuals will automatically update to reflect the new date range. You can go in and import your budgets right here. If you have them in an Excel, you can copy and paste them. You can key in. But if you want to create that sales one, you can just simply go in and uncheck certain items, or check them all and say, I just want to pay attention to Ford sales, trucks, truck and car, Nissan sales, engine sales. Delete those and tell your clients, hey, let's just focus on these this month. Save it, docs it to their dashboard so they can go in and run that report and just see those key areas that they need to be paying attention to. Now, when we talked about those unmapped accounts, the Tools tab is where you load, excuse me, in the Account tab. Nope, Manage tab is where you load your SCOA. Sorry about that. So you can either send us your chart of accounts and one of our great support team members will load it for you, or you can go in and add your chart of accounts right here. You can go 7 layers deep with parent-child relationships. You can add if you need to make changes later on. But this is where we upload your standard chart of accounts. Now when you are ready to start mapping and after all the automation picks up, you can select this map to SCOA. So right now we currently see all the items that are unmapped. They'll lay under unmapped. You can simply just tick which ones you need, assign them to a certain category, and then hit map selection and it will map it. Moving forward, it will memorize it, so the next time you resync, it will automatically be mapped into the correct place. Let's go ahead and jump into our peer benchmarking report. Now, because everyone's on a standard chart of accounts, we're able to compare apples to apples, so we're singing off the same sheet of music. So we can go in and run a peer benchmark. Do average, top 10%, top 20%. Let's go ahead, clear our filters. Now, let's say you're a client and you just see this Austin file, but you want to benchmark yourselves. We can select our Austin location, build the report, and this is what your clients would see. They wouldn't see all the locations broken out. You would see that because you have access to it, but they could just see their file and how they stand in the top 20%, which is 5 locations out of 25 in this example. So they can see, if they're in line with the top performers. Maybe they're a new store, so maybe the numbers aren't appropriate. So turn on that vertical analysis to see if their percentages are aligned with the top performers. This is how our benchmarking technology works. Again, if you want to, instead of having a multi-store franchise and say plumbing clients and sync all of your files, your client's files to this plumbing company, then you can do so as well. And then you can essentially have, like I mentioned, your own industry benchmarking you can present. So this could be John Doe's Plumbing, and then you have 25 plumbing clients, and they can see how they perform against your plumbing clients. You really can build Qvinci the way that makes sense for your business. I mentioned the alert section a little bit earlier. This is where you can go and set alerts for all of your accounting files. Here are your files, and here are all their accounts. If you want to select a frequency, daily, weekly, a period, a target, actual threshold, insert your value. If you have a target, save it. The next day, it'll email you all the alerts you have set up. Here is our health check. So ideally, you want all of these to appear as zeros. But if something does come through that's not being balanced correctly, simply just click here to find the detail. It'll have your accounting file name, under which client it is. So this is our multi-store franchise. The month and year the error occurs, and then where the error is, if it's the total assets. And this will tell you who's syncing the file. What contributor is the one who goes in and does the initial link and sync. Now, if you want to make sure that your files are being opened by your clients, that they're going in and running reports, if they do their own bookkeeping, or if you guys do their own bookkeeping, you want to make sure your employees are going in and updating the file. We have our sync activity report, and it will show you if you see not applicable, that means the file hasn't been linked and synced. That's something you want to pay attention to. But it will tell you, this file was synced. They're using QuickBooks. The first sync date was, 6/3/14, and the last time it synced was 4/5/16. So you want to pay attention to the health of each sync, and this is where you can do that. And that is kind of a high-level overview of our solution. Again, if you're looking to see a little bit more in depth, please reach out to one of our account executives. And it's important to talk about security. It's a hot topic these days. We are hosted at Amazon Web Services. It's also where INTUIT's hosted. It's also where the Department of Defense is hosted. We carry SOC 1, SOC 2, 3, HIPAA, FIPS, and DoD compliance. Um, we take security very serious. That's why we went with the best provider, which is Amazon Web Services. And again, we don't seek any kind of personal information such as social security numbers, bank account numbers, and credit card numbers. So any security questions that come up, we send these deck out this webinar afterwards so you can review it. Now what? If you have any questions, we've listed all of our account executives right here. This is myself, Kaylin Underwood. These are the industries I represent, as well as accountants in the Northeast. We got Marty De Los Santos on chat today. These are the industries he represents, as well as West Coast. Roman focuses on accountants and pro-advisors in the Midwest, and Rich does the South. So please feel free to reach out to any of us. If we're not the correct point of contact, we will make sure to get you to the correct point of contact. If you need to know immediately, please chat in, and Marty will do so. We'll let you know who your account executive is. We are on the Intuit App Store, and always like to recommend, whether you're a client or not, to go over there and write us a review. Tell us, what you thought about this webinar. Was it helpful? What do you think about our solution in general? We love to hear your feedback. We are very proud of all the reviews we have up there. So please, if you get a chance, mosey over there and write us a review. We would love to hear from you. With that being said, we'll kind of move into our Q&A session. So if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll get those answered for you. Okay, first question. Again, might have missed this. What accounting applications do you sync with? We sync with QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, and that could be Pro, Premier, Enterprise, Accountant. We sync with Xero. We sync with MYOB, and we also can perform a manual sync with Excel. We also sync at the class or location level, so keep that in mind as well if you report at that level. No, great question. So if you have, multiple clients loaded into Qvinci, client 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., client 1 would not be able to see anyone else's data but client 1. Now, let's say client 1 has, their franchise, for example, they have 10 locations, and you want to have some people see all 10 locations financials, but you want some people to invite, I just want to see the one of the 10 locations. You can even go that granular and invite people just to view one file out of the 10. So we have different security access that you can establish with your client and invite as many people as you would like, because again, it's unlimited number of users. Great question. Oh, this is my favorite question. How do I get started? No, the best way to get started is to reach out to one of our account executives, and we will help you create your account. We'll walk you through with our support team through the linking and syncing process. When you go to create an account, you automatically get a free 14-day trial where you can load as many clients as you would like on there. So we'll help you with that. Get your standard chart of accounts in place, give you a walkthrough. It's a very easy setup. The linking process for a QBO file probably takes, I'll be conservative, let's say 30 seconds per QuickBooks Online file. For a desktop file, maybe takes 45 seconds per file. So it's a one-time link and sync process. Once that's done, it'll pick up those automations moving forward, and it'll be very, very simple to maintain. Any other questions? All right. Well, again, thank you for joining us today, and I'll go back to leave it on this screen. And please feel free to reach out. We're here to help in any way possible. So again, we have the next webinar coming up on May 18th, which is how to set up and roll out Qvinci with our Director of Customer Support. And then on I believe it was June 1st, we have our next Accountant Series webinar, How to Increase Client Engagement. So recommend that one as well. And please feel free to reach out to any of our account executives. We'll be more than happy to walk you through our solution and show you the demo in a little bit more, give you guys a little bit more in-depth demo. So again, thank you for your time today, and have a fantastic Wednesday.